Integrity. That's called courage.
Free up your mind. Use your imagination.
All you need to know is I'll get you there.
Learning.
Now that's the stuff leaders should be made of.
Welcome to the Open House podcast. Our guests are our students, opinionated, daring, and ridiculously smart. They ask tough questions about life and about learning. This podcast is by them and for them. Thank you so much, Anushka and Dr. Tiwari, for joining me for...
Thank you so much, Sudhika. And thank you so much for this platform, for giving me an opportunity to share something and can contribute to someone's life with my information.
Yeah, this is the 7th episode of the Open House podcast. And I'm just going to kick this off. Okay. There are two kinds of relationships we can have with food. The first kind is if you look at food simply as fuel, something that is a matter of survival. And the second is if you look at food as something that you enjoy and something to savor. People who have eating disorders like anorexia or bulimia or binge eating disorder, they have an entirely different relationship with food. The common perception is that eating disorders only affect people who want to lose weight, but there is more to it than that. Eating disorders do affect a person's mental health, and they are a kind of mental disorder. And this episode is going to be a very candid conversation about precisely that. We have Anushka Srivatsan, a 15-year-old who is in class 10. She is a drummer, a singer, and a mental health advocate. Our guest speaker today is Dr. Samyak Tiwari, a practicing psychiatrist from Lucknow. He believes that how we behave and think is a byproduct of our conditioning, and his practice goes beyond treating a symptom to actually understand why we behave the way we do. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Tiwari, my first question is actually to you. And it's sort of like a stock check for the rest of the episode. What really are eating disorders? Can you talk a little bit about anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating each?
See, there are as you've already mentioned, primarily there are two kinds of eating disorders: anorexia nervosa and bulimia. So both are basically quite similar in a sense that both the people who are suffering from either anorexia or bulimia, they have that feeling of losing weight. The only difference is, in fact, not the only, the few differences are that anorexia, there is an intense desire an obsession of weight loss in anorexia. While in bulimia, there is no obsession, but it is only limited to desiring weight loss. Okay? So anorexia, there is intense obsession for weight loss. In bulimia, there is just desire, not obsession. And to meet that obsession of weight loss in anorexia, these individuals who suffer from this illness, they indulge in extreme starvation. And because of extreme starvation, people with anorexia, they suffer many kind of physiological illnesses, common being anemia and muscle atrophy, hormonal disturbances, hypokalemia, where there is lack of potassium in the blood. They suffer from hypoglycemia. So because there is extreme starvation and anorexia, they have certain kind of physiological disturbances. While in bulimia, as I told you, that there's an underlying this thought that I should lose weight, but that is not to the extent of obsession. There is only a desire. So there is never that intense feeling of starvation. People with bulimia, they maintain their weight. Okay. So there is, in bulimia, people there is nothing like starvation. They cannot control their cravings, and they eat too much food, especially food which is rich in calories. And the moment they eat it, after that they try to binge it. They try to take it out through various inappropriate methods. Most commonly, I think you must have read, is self-induced vomiting. They also take laxatives, some kind of diuretics. So they cannot control their cravings. They have lot of those calorie-rich food, and then they take it out. So that somehow it is said, and I read about it, that once they cannot stop the craving, once they have that calorie-rich food, then they get in a state of regret. And to get over that regret, they indulge in self-induced kind of a vomiting or laxative or diuretic ways to take out all those calories. So these are the basic differences between anorexia and I told this upfront because I just wanted to clear what exactly the differences are. I hope I could
yes,
make you understand what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes. Anushka, why don't you actually tell us about your experience with eating disorders? I know it has been a first-hand experience.
Yes, all right. So for me, I suffered from bulimia nervosa for a couple of months in 2020. And for me, it was mainly fueled by body dysmorphia. And it was like an attempt to fit this sort of mold of perfection that society had provided, which was said to be, the perfect way to look, or unless you look this way, you are not accepted. So it was more of that for me. It would be somewhat like, all right, so if I'm eating anything, I'm not a particularly unhealthy eater. So if I was eating even a simple lunch with my family, at the back of my head, there'd be this guilt, this regret that would keep saying, like, you should not be doing this, or this is not good for you, or, exercise a lot more. You'll have to exercise a lot more tonight because you ate so much. And then ultimately after eating, I would go and, self-induced either vomiting or, as Dr. Samyak said. So that was, for me, that was my experience. It would be somewhat, there would be this voice at the back of my head saying that, what you're feeling is wrong. Like this, you shouldn't be regretting this, but it was there nonetheless.
Anushka, you spoke of body dysmorphia, and people make all sorts of comments for skinny people and for people who are overweight alike.
Yeah.
For skinny people, it's, machis ki tili or whatnot.
Yeah.
How do these comments actually make you feel, and how does that really play into your experiences?
I think that plays one of the most major roles in especially eating disorders, because ultimately it's for external validation, right? You are doing it to try to please others. Every single comment, everything anybody says about the way you look affects us in every way possible. So you are looking for that, you look good or you look very nice, but for some reason people are never happy. There's always going to be this one person who will go, no, you will look better like that, or do this to look like that, which is practically impossible. There are impossible standards to attain.
Dr. Tiwari, have you seen this? I mean, when you have treated people with eating disorders, have you seen this come up again and again?
Definitely. It's a common belief, and it's a common thinking of people who have certain kind of eating disorders, that they want to achieve some kind of a physical shape. There's this urge and this feeling that they should look perfect, that zero figure crap kind of a thing. And unfortunately, what has happened, especially after the appearances of these kind of all the social platforms, especially the Instagram, that we have become more and more of approval seekers. So actually we all of us, right from the time immemorial, we have obviously every one of us likes to be appreciated. But this opportunity of getting appreciated has been enhanced by these social platforms. So youngsters, especially youngsters like Anushka, when they see people on Instagram and Facebook and all these social platforms, they somehow get inspired by all these the shapes of this amazing shape of their body, and so this influences a lot in inspiring them, in motivating them towards losing weight. And which losing weight is good, but having an obsession for it and losing weight to an extent that you become biologically ill, now that comes under the category of eating disorders. I always tell in my seminars, when I go to schools and colleges, that you see, all of us are interested in shaping our body, but we are not interested in shaping our minds. The reason is that I can put my 17-inch bicep photograph on the platform, or a girl can put her good looks on any social platform. But how can I take the snap of a mind which is full of wisdom? Even if I take it, I won't get any kind of comments or thumbs ups or those kind of approvals.
Anushka, what do you say to that? I mean, you are the social media generation. You're in the thick of it. How much? I mean, how much does it influence you? Because I just feel that it glorifies, all these models and actresses with the skinniest of bodies.
Yes. So I think what we propagate as beautiful is what society believes is beautiful. But okay, so you will see on social media there are two very parallel sides. There'll be one where this diet culture and everything will be it'll be this sort of, one would call it this way of living, which is shown to be so beautiful and so glamorous and so bright. The modeling industry, the acting industry, all these places, the people who work here, it's their job. There's nothing that we should have against them, but there is this limit, there's this extent to which we should naturally push ourselves to look a particular way. There should be we should know how much our bodies can actually take. We should know how much we should be actually challenging our body. I should not be forced to eat one meal a day, which will also be, something really small, just because I don't want to eat that many particular calories. Or I should not be forced to exercise 4 to 5 hours a day by myself. Even if there's no person from outside telling me to do it, there shouldn't be this internal thing where I am forcing myself to go to an extent which my own body doesn't want to go. So you can get inspired by it for the better, but you should not get inspired by it in such a way that in the end it takes a toll on your mind, it takes a toll on your body, because in the end, the maximum people getting affected are my generation, right? They are people who are mostly in school or in college, and we have a lot of other things on our mind as well, and trying to get that external validation just for our looks, that should not be such a big priority. Looking good and feeling good is beneficial, but looking good just to make others feel good,
happy,
that's not really
others
what we're looking for.
No, I think sometimes when we do look at actresses and models, and I think we forget that it is their full time. I mean, looking good is a part of the job, and they probably have an entire team of people that is working to make them look that way. Whether it's a makeup artist, or whether it's a gym instructor, whether it's also like just access to having the best gyms. We forget that that's what it takes to look like that, and it's not possible for people who are studying, for people who have full-time jobs, and it's a different life entirely. Do people only, I think, have eating disorders when they are unhappy with the way their body looks? This is, either of you can answer and go first.
See, mostly the pathology lies in how we are thinking about our own body. So primarily, it's because of we are not happy with our shape. But it has also been seen, especially anorexia. I'm not about talking about bulimia, but anorexia, people starve because somehow they have a kind of guilt, regret, and especially in patients with depression. And by indulging in this kind of a starvation, they want to give a loud message to everyone that they are not happy with their life. So here the basic thinking is not to look good, but to somehow tell people that they are suffering.
Like a call for help.
Yeah, call for help. Then it's also seen in patients with obsessive compulsive disorder.
Okay.
OCD, yeah, where patients have an obsession for looking great, looking good. See, obsession for losing weight, they sometimes may binge. But then when there is an obsession for losing weight because of OCD, they never binge. There is a great obsession inside them. So although it's a very difficult thing to pick out, but I have seen that people with especially anorexia, they also have an associated OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Whether they have some kind of linking, this is something to be found out, some topic for research. But I have, although the few cases I have seen this kind of a correlation. So, but primarily, yes, definitely, people are suffering from eating disorders because they are not happy with their shape.
Anushka, do you have something to add to that?
I feel like eating disorders, they may be, I think it is, yes, mainly because when somebody is unhappy with their shape, or maybe they're made to feel unhappy about their shape. Like I may be perfectly happy with my body, but somebody either in my family or my peers or just somebody nowadays, random people on social media may say, they might just say, your shoulders are too broad or something, just that small comment, which was maybe like they wrote it and forgot and just had forgotten about it. It'll be in my mind, it'll be in the back of our minds going, is it like this? Should I be worried about this? And then thinking process about it, which will ultimately, grow into some. So it can either be self-inflicted, like, by seeing social media or people propagating the perfect figures, in double quotations. Or it can be just something which somebody thought was harmless, but actually turned out to be really harmful.
So, I mean, you mentioned something that reminded me of something that happened yesterday. I was going live on Instagram with a batchmate of mine from college. And we were talking, and somebody in the comments said, you have bad teeth. And, then it just threw me off for that entire 40-minute period, because I don't even know who he's talking about. Is he talking about me? Is he talking about my friend? Either way, it's bad, and it's unpleasant, for both of us. Recently, I don't know if the two of you watched The Crown and the 4th season, the last season of that. Did you guys watch it?
No, I have not watched the Crown series.
Okay.
But sure, go.
Neither me.
Okay. No, actually, I had a question about that. Princess Diana in that show, she had bulimia.
Yes.
And I wanted to actually ask you what you thought about the way it was shown.
I do know the story.
Okay.
So, so it was basically, so there's a story behind how I know this story. So when I was not in my healthiest times, I when I was talking to my mom, when I finally told her, like, I'm not healthy and this is happening, then she was quite supportive about it. And we came across this story of Princess Diana and how it was made such a big deal that she had bulimia. But I feel like under all the pressure, which is not dissimilar to the pressure. Maybe it must have been a lot more, but I think the pressure which all of us undergo, and under the same pressure, it's not justified to be to show hatred towards someone if they publicly finally say that, I have this problem and I'm trying to fix it. So I think that was I was strongly against the way it was handled by both the media and the royal the family. But I feel like the way she was so strong about it, coming out in front of everybody, and in that time, that too, when not where rarely anybody really knew about these things. So I feel like if anybody is coming forward, whether now, whether previously, it should be taken as a very courageous thing and not something to be looked down upon.
In your experience, how aware are people of eating disorders? Dr. Tiwari and Anushka, and either of you start.
They are very unaware. Let's go with that. Rarely would I see. Okay, so when I published, I think on Open House's blog only, I published my article, and I sent the link to a couple of my friends, and they said that I had to search on the internet to know what you were talking about. So it's something that practically nobody talks about, because especially in schools, when we have the mental health seminars or anything like that, it's mainly for your studies or your focus, anxiety, which are all very important. But topics like eating disorders are not even touched. They're not mentioned. Nobody knows about them. In my case, it was practically nobody except for my mom. And that too because she treats patients who come here.
Okay. What about you, Dr. Tiwari? What has your experience been?
Definitely, the girl is right. Eating disorders are extremely underreported. And because of the fact that especially anorexic patients, if I'm talking about anorexia, they are heading towards their mission of losing weight to the extreme, to the max, secretly, without telling this to anyone. Once upon a time, I was going through a book of my subject, and I saw a case study where there was a real case being discussed, and it was mentioned that it has been very frequently seen that anorexic patients, they carry paper napkins in their pockets. Okay, so their modus operandi is, whenever you offer them food, so they would give you a smile, they would respectfully take whatever you have given them, and they will put that piece of meal in their mouth. They would smile back at you, chew it, and then the moment you are away from them, they would take that food, put it in the paper napkin, and then throw back. So they do it very secretly, and so it has been extremely underreported. Not many people know about it, that there is any disorder like eating disorder, and because very few patients of eating disorders are seen by me and any other psychiatrist. People are not very much interested in research for eating disorders, because research is done on popular subjects. Usually.
Right.
So there are very less number of doctors who are doing any research on eating disorders. So it's very unpopular.
What are some common misconceptions? Sorry, Anushka.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing to what Dr. Samyak said. When he mentioned, that they do it secretly, or, it's not something which is really publicly shown, then I feel like many a times it's actually appreciated instead of denounced. Because when somebody starts to lose weight, society as a whole says, oh, you look better, you look prettier, which just sort of enhances the need to continue doing so. So I think that positive feedback is actually worse than the negative one.
What are some common misconceptions around eating disorders?
Misconceptions, I would say that people, even people who are indulging in eating disorders are actually not aware of the fact that they are heading towards something which comes under the category of illness. They exactly don't know about it. So many times it is underreported because the sufferer is not aware that he or she is, mostly she, is not heading towards some kind of a abnormal behavior. So for people in their family, people around them, and for the person himself or herself, mostly herself, for them, they are heading towards their health, heading towards losing weight, heading towards becoming more fit.
Anushka, what was it like for you to tell your mother or your friends around you that you were suffering from bulimia? What was their reaction? If you're comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it. So for me, first I had to come to terms with it myself. To come to a realization that, okay, I cannot handle this on my own. And so one day I was just sitting down with my mom, and I'm very fortunate to have a mom who I'm very open with. So I told her, I need to talk to you about something, and she said, okay, tell me. So I said that I'm having this regret after eating. For the last couple of months it's been happening, and I don't think it's right of me to throw up everything that I eat. And she said that, okay, this is something which I have dealt with even in my field, because the symptoms of what you're going through are something that I have seen. So she really understood what I went through. Like she tried to, I'm pretty sure it was not easy for her, but she tried to come to terms with it to try to help me get through it. So we just sort of we went through it together, because I think eating disorders in general are very lonely for somebody who is going through them. So for me, she was like this major pillar of support who just helped me, like even when I had repercussions, or when I was not even on the road to recovery, there are still places where it's not easy, it's rocky. So I think being supportive is one of the main things that you can do to help someone who has just told you about what they're going through. As for my friends, I did not actually tell any of my friends before the article came out. So it came as a sort of surprise to them, but they were also pretty supportive. They were all really supportive to me, like especially my close circle. I think approaching the right person is very important, and then you slowly, maybe if you do, for me, I did want to become healthier, because as somebody I have Hashimoto's, so already my metabolism due to hypothyroid isn't very good. So I decided that I'll have a healthier lifestyle, and it'll be a long process, but I'll build it up. So I started with first of all with eating. I started with eating and keep inside. So just eating 3 meals a day, small but gradually growing. And then I got into an exercise regime. And slowly you build it up. You have to be very careful about what affects you and what doesn't. And even if it does affect you, how much you let it.
See, it is obviously, if you compare it to other kind of mental illnesses, it is really uncommon. It is not as prevalent as other mental illnesses. But there are people who have this kind of problem. They do it secretly, so it's underreported. And many of individuals, especially people who are doing it in rural areas, they are not exactly aware of it, what they're doing.
Okay.
Maybe few people in urbans, they might realize it that they are going through anorexia or bulimia, but that's also very rare.
Thank you so much for this conversation. As we've discussed
Pleasure,
and realized over the last, I think, like 45 minutes, is that eating disorders are highly underreported. We aren't aware of them, and we always, we don't always know what it really means. And we need to talk about it a lot more. I hope that this conversation is the start of many more that we do end up having as a society about eating disorders, and really understanding them a little better. But yeah, thank you so much, Anushka, and thank you, Dr. Tiwari.
Thank you, Sudhika. Thank you, Anushka.